Hi everybody, it's Ben again. I'm here to do a swipe tonight. So I've got my colours already mixed up and ready. So I'll just get stuck into it. So I'm using Marte light purple, Marte magenta, Marte turquoise, and eraldo cobalt hue. So the light purple and the turquoise are opaques, and the magenta and cobalt are semi-transparent. Just make sure this is all cleaned off, and they're all mixed 2-to-1 with Australian floetrol. Oh, sorry, 2.5-to-1, not 2-to-1. I made it 2.5 this time. Including the swipe colour, which is just black. I put in four drops of the coconut milk hair serum, but they're not drops that I use straight from this bottle. I put it in one of these little droppers. It gives me a smaller drop. This is a bit more difficult to use it this way, so I just pour some into here and use that. I always write on everything so I know exactly what I'm doing, because at the time my memory goes, I'll remember that, and 10 minutes later I've forgotten it. But I didn't put anything in the black. I only put the coconut serum in the 4 colours. So I think I'm ready to go. So we'll pick out which ones we're going to go first. So I really like these colours, so that's why I decided I'm going to do these. I'm a bright colour person. When I'm doing, because I'm a horticulturalist, when I'm doing my flowers, I love flowers that have bright colours. I don't mind normal plants. I don't mind green plants, but I think they have their place. But I love everything that has flowers and bright colours even better. So it tends to something that I like in my paintings as well. So I'm just doing this a little bit haphazard. I don't want it to be absolutely perfect, because I'm going to do a little bit of tilting to spread the paint out over the canvas and over the edges. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue at the top. Whoops, maybe a bit too much at the top. I think I put too much blue all the way across, so I'm going to go a little bit more of the bottom colour, because now that's quite hidden. So I got a little bit of the purple in some spots. And this is the good part about when you do it this way, is because I'm going to tilt it, it really doesn't matter what this looks like right now. So I managed to get some new gloves, ones that are powder free. So the other gloves that I had on, they always had powder underneath them. And every time I have to take them off, because the paint's dripping, I take them off near my work area. And I noticed powder was coming off of it and going in either in my paints and stuff. So I found these ones on special at the shops today, which are powder free. And I am quite happy with them. They fit me quite tightly, so I feel like I've got more control. The only bad thing is the only way to get them off is I've got to turn them inside out. Oops. So I always do my paintings on these plastic tub lids, so then all the paint just gets caught on that. Only bad thing is now that it's winter, the paint that's dripping off onto the lids isn't drying. So when I put my canvas down with the push pins sometimes stick to it a little bit, and it's not as easy to lift up. But I suppose in another way it's good because it means the canvas doesn't roll around a lot once I've got it in place. So I'm trying to keep this in focus, in screen I mean. So it's just a matter of spreading the paint around, getting it to go over the corners, so then I know that they're covered. Tilting it back. I'm trying not to take it off camera. Always does a little bit when I do this bottom side. So if it's out of focus or out of screen for a little bit, it won't be long. All the way over. Sometimes when you do swipes, you can't have too much paint sitting on the canvas because you end up just pulling way too much paint. So it doesn't matter if a fair bit ends up coming off when you're doing it. As long as you've got still some there to move, you just don't want it completely covered. So I might tip a little bit off. Alright, I think that's better. Yeah, it's not still some movement, but not too much paint on there. So if I tilt it this way, sorry, out of camera again. I've got to set up a slightly better area so my camera's in focus more, but like everything, it takes time to build up those other projects that you're gonna do. For now I'm just starting off, so I'm not trying to make everything over the top. I'm just going to put a bit of paint there. Make sure this side's got, yeah, there we go. Much better. Make sure all my corners, these back corners are covered. I just use the paint that's sitting on my fingertips. And the advantage of today is if I hold my fingers over the canvas and some drips onto it, because I'm going to swipe it, it doesn't matter. Alrighty. I like that. That's pretty good. So now I'm going to get my gloves off because they're just going to get in my way. And it's a shame wasting gloves every time, but I keep going to... I go to work and I've got paint all under my nails and colours everywhere and paint in my rings. So I'm trying to be a bit more professional when I'm at work, so I'm making sure I don't have colours everywhere. And I've got something here I'm going to pick out. That looks like my only glob. Every so often you get just a little glob somewhere. Alrighty. So, like normal, if you like what I do, please subscribe and leave a comment. I really would like to know what people think. I like what I do, and I ask people how do they think, but sometimes it's easier when people don't know you because they don't feel as obliged to give you perfect comments. I'm quite happy to get the criticism as well as the positives. It's the only way I'm going to learn whether what I'm doing is actually everyone's cup of tea or not, because it actually may not be what everyone loves. Okay. Now I didn't mind pouring over the back edge, just makes that whole back part covered. Makes it a little bit easier. I've got a little bit of paint left over, which is absolutely fantastic for me because then I can do a slight, whoops, Might move the camera forward because I think there we go. I'm going to use those little bit of leftovers to do just a mini, probably flip cup on this tiny little coaster thing. I'm trying to work out, this is a new one that I brought from Mont. I did some on bigger ones, but they kind of warped as the paint shrank. So I'm wondering what this brand is like in the cards. Now, here's my swiping tool. I just forgot one thing, which is some paper towels to wipe my excess paint onto. Sorry, I try and get fully prepared beforehand, but I forgot to this time. One thing I forgot. So I can see cells are already popping up in all of these, which is really good. It means I know that I'll probably get decent cells once I actually do the swipe. I'm just moving my paints out the way so they don't hinder me. Put that there. So I've just got my bit of plastic that I'm swiping with. So here we go. Alrighty. Whoa. So I'm just wiping this on the edge of my little plastic lid, which gets a lot of the excess paint off, and then I can just clean the rest on my paper towel. If it works properly. Oh, fantastic. I love these. That's why I love these colours. These colours are really cool. A lot of people go, they're not very manly colours, but I don't care. I like them anyway because they're cool. So now I'm just going to do this bit. I'm going to overlap a little bit because at the bottom here I've missed. So if I put it right there. Sorry, I stopped talking when I swipe because I am concentrating. Can't always talk and think properly at the same time. I try, but it doesn't always work. So I'm going to wipe this, otherwise my paint's going to dry on it. And while I'm waiting, that gives these cells a chance to pop up. I love it. Bad part, where I swiped over again, I got streaks. My only complaint would be where that edge hit those cells that were already forming. It's kind of pulled them along and turned them into unusual shapes. But sometimes I don't have a big enough sheet that covers this yet. I probably should go buy another nice big bit of plastic that can cover the whole canvas at once. But then again, then you've got to control it a little bit longer as well. So with everything, there's advantages and disadvantages to each time you do something. But I am very happy with how it's looking. I tidied up a little bit. So I moved a couple of things around and now I'm trying to find something and I can't see it. There we go. I found another one. I got lots of these little cards lying around. I work at a hardware store, so I just get some of the deleted colours that they no longer are going to sell. I'm going to do the two edges because they're not looking fantastic, but I am going to do the same thing with these cells on the near the edge. They're going to go that weird shape. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually, if I was better off doing that or not. Like I always think to myself, it's not exactly that if you've done something wrong, but if you do something that you don't like, learn from it. At least with what I've done is I've learnt where my thing goes, I'm going to mess up those cells. So I probably maybe shouldn't have bothered to redo those edges, but I did anyway. I don't mind it. I may just put a bit of black here and try and push these little bits of blue off the top here. I don't know if that's going to work because the dimethicone may end up just pushing that black back off and showing up the colour again. But they're so cool. So these, I love bright things. This is nice and bright. It looks quite spacey. You've got mostly big cells. You do have a few little ones. I'm not as pleased with the two edges. I don't know if I've got enough black to do much about them. And I don't want to... I sometimes worry if when I try and fix things, do I mess it up more? It's the only issue is sometimes trying to fix things. You can sometimes actually do more damage than good. Don't think I did too much damage. So I'm going to give it a quick torch. Just going to do it nice and high and just see if anything else decides it wants to come up. I don't really have a lot of air bubbles in this one because I used the floetrol instead of the glue mixture. So when I use a glue mixture, I have to pop bubbles. There's not a lot of ways to go around that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get much more unless I get closer, and I don't know if I want to. Nah, I'm not going to. I'm going to mess it up if I get too close. And sometimes heating up the cells doesn't always make them better. So, I'm quite happy with it. Only things would like to try and do slightly different. The edges, which, I don't know if you can see, the two edges down here that missed a little bit, they haven't become as uniform as I would have preferred. So, it's not a huge problem, but I'm not as keen on the two edges. And that one swipe where I did the join. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to go to the shop and see if I can get a larger plastic sheet that I can put across and try and do the whole thing at once. Because the cells came up really fast, and by the time I did the second swipe, it had already started making a difference. I might actually get, if I can't find a bigger sheet, I'll use two. So I'll actually, instead of having one swipe, then wipe, then swipe it again, I might just get two, do one swipe, quickly chuck it aside, do the second swipe before the cells have got start popping up too big, and maybe that would make a slight improvement. So I'm just going to pause it and then bring you in closer. Okay, so this is it from my angle, which I'm quite happy with. I really like the colours in it. And I'll go in. Got to go in slow, otherwise the camera goes, I don't like focusing. So you can see there's ended up coming lots of like little, tiny little stars really in the background where the floetrol's kind of made that pattern. And I've got these big cells, which are quite varied with their colourings. Some are the lighter pink, some are dark pink, some are purple, some are turquoise, some are blue. Come over this way. But yeah, it's kind of given that really speckly look in the background. But yeah, that's the bit I'm not 100% keen on, is that one big cell that's kind of gone out of shape. And the edges here, where it hasn't really swiped properly the first time round. It's not hugely bad, like when you look at it from a distance. Sorry, there we focus. It's not hugely bad, the edges, but it's not what I was planning to have. But yeah, so now all I got to do is just clean up the around the base where the drips are. So focus camera. Just under here, I'm just going to scrape it to get all the drips so it doesn't keep pulling the paint off. And then this is completed. So as things dry, I try and take a photo, but it will take takes a few days before everything becomes dry. So that will be, I'll post them up later. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you like the colors I used, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thank you. Bye.